this morning, and as I've very briefly said already, for those of you that joined first off, we've only got 30 minutes in the diary this morning, which we thought was just long enough to take you through and introduce you to our management learning space, which is the purpose of the session today. And we're really excited about this, and we haven't put it out there to hundreds and hundreds of people. We wanted to just put it out there to people that have kind of engaged with us before and worked with us before, to give you the kind of first pre-launch really of what our learning space is all about. There'll be some people on this call that have probably heard us talking about it a bit already, but maybe it feels a bit conceptual and you haven't kind of really spent any time yet to get familiar with it. So we're really excited to share that with you today. There might be some that don't know us as well, so we're going to do just really quick introductions that will fly through. So I'm going to pass you over to Erica as well, who's here with us this morning.
Great, thank you, Hayley. I know most people on the call, but for those who I don't know, Erica Farmer, co-founder and business director of Quantum Rise, over 20 years corporate learning and development experience with some of the UK's largest brands. I've held head of leadership development, head of talent development, head of apprenticeship roles, and all of our combined experience and understanding of leadership and skills of the future has really fed into this piece of work. I do a lot with LinkedIn Learning as well, so I'm writing a lot on future skills and critical skills that managers need in the next 3 years. So hopefully you'll see some of that start to play through in what we're talking to you guys about today. I'll hand back over to Hayley.
Brilliant. Thanks, Erica. Yeah, some great work going on now as we start to look into what the skills for the future look like. And we put quite a lot of our time into thinking about what happens next and how can we support people with what that means today, and simplifying things and trying to take out some of the complexity, which is, again, what this is all about. So I'm Hayley Bird, for those of you that don't know me. I'm Erica's business partner at Quantum Rise. And my real passion is actually making things interesting online, because I think probably, like most of you, I've sat through some terribly boring, not just e-learning, virtual classrooms, webinars, and if you're anything like me who doesn't have an office to go to, it is my home office. I need something more than that, and I think that's where we've come from with actually everything that we do, but specifically today, the management learning space. How can we engage people, interact with people, get people wanting to do this stuff, and inspiring people to want to learn for themselves? So if you know us well, you'll know that there's interaction. There's always going to be interaction. So get your chat box open on Zoom for me. You can see there's a few comments starting to come in as well. I'm just going to ask you this question. I'm going to play this short video, and you may have seen Erica on this before. Now, I think we've all seen that happen before. So we've all flicked through e-learning. To get to the end, we might have had our phone with us to take pictures of the screens as we go, so that we get to the end and we can answer the quiz, or we get to the end and we're surprised when there's a quiz and we have to rewind and start from the beginning again. That isn't learning. That's just testing our memory to some effect. So why do we let this happen? And I'm just going to ask you to pop into the chat, why do we let this type of e-learning happen? And whilst you're in the chat, I'm just going to press play again so you can have a little watch again.
I just love Noodle's look at the end. It just cracks me up every time.
It is funny. And we know it's familiar. Sam, tick box, exactly that. We need to get people through mandatory learning often. We know that we can measure it. We know that they've completed it. We can check the box, happy days, and we can move it to one side. And thank you, Sam, for sharing that, because it's an honest response to the reason why we might let this happen in terms of our e-learning. But why else? Why do we let our learners, our employees, our teams learn like this? It's a really simple way. Yeah, so volume, Polly, 100% volume. You know, we want to get people through it. We've got a lot of people, and actually with e-learning, it makes no difference if there's 10 people or 10,000 people that need to do it. The cost to us as an organisation is often the same, depending on how the product is paid for, and we get plenty of people through it. It's consistent as well. There's a consistent message. Anything else? Convenience, cheap. Exactly. So it's cost effective, it's scalable, it's compliant, Liz, absolutely that. So all of these benefits are things that we clearly need as businesses. We have to be able to access e-learning that's scalable, that's standardized, that's flexible, that's efficient, that's cost effective. But does it need to be boring? which it so often is. Employer not committed, Liz. Yeah, potentially not committed to that journey. So Erica and I, being the way that we are, obviously are going to look at challenging this, because we don't want people to log on to learning and be bored, or just to memorize what it is that they're reading and looking at, just so that they can do the quiz. And the frustration you feel when you're 2% short at the end of the quiz and you've got to do the whole thing again. I think we've all been there. When I started at NatWest Bank, that was my very first job out of college when I was 18. I remember sitting in a dark and dingy room in the upstairs of an old bank building in the high street on my own for a whole week. Now, I know that was some time ago, but I don't think it's still happening. It's still happening. And even if it's a bit broken up now over a few weeks, it still happens. Some great comments coming in. Thank you so much, Liz. The trainer's not moved to the virtual load, still stood crying next to their flip chart. Love it. Okay, so I just want you to reflect on some of these things now in terms of our e-learning. So wouldn't it be great if we could have a package where senior stakeholders commented on how engaged the workforce are in their own development? And I don't mean they're just doing what they need to do and they find it okay. I mean, they're going out and seeking it, or they're going to look for something in the moment. They've come across a challenge and they go to something where they can actually learn for themselves. If managers started applying their learning straight away, so they're sat in their e-learning, they've learned something and they can apply it in that moment. There was a suite of relevant practical resources. So there's a place people can go where everything, all of their learning is pulled together, and there's a load of resources there that they can tap into: podcasts, YouTube videos, articles, research, supporting stuff that they can look at as well to support the learning that they've done. But I think this is the most important one, is people actually feel inspired to learn, because I think learning's changing so much, and people now, we need to be inspiring people to want to learn and to actually want to say, do you know what, I want to get better at that, or this isn't working and I know I'm going to need it for the future. So this is our basis. We're sharing with you today kind of the basis of where this has come from and why we wanted to bring this together. And I'm just going to share with you now a really short video, and I'm going to demo the learning space briefly for you as well in the session today. But before I do, let me just introduce it to you with this short video that we've pulled together. Brilliant stuff. Now, what I love about that video is at the end it says, are your managers of today ready for the skills that they need for tomorrow? So we're just going to launch a quick poll in a second, and I want you to think about, on a scale of 1 to 5, how equipped your managers, or if you don't have a team of managers as such, think about managers around you or managers of clients that you're working with. How equipped are managers with the skills they need for the near future? So let me just launch that poll and let's see what we get. That should come up on the screen. On a scale of 1 to 5, how equipped are your managers with the skills they need for the near future? Okay. There's no right or wrong answer with this. It's really just a minute to reflect and think about what this means. Great stuff. We've got a real range of scores coming in there. Okay, so we've got about 55% there coming through as a 3, so sitting somewhere in the middle, because a lot of the skills that managers need for the future are going to be the skills that they've harnessed already. So I think there's a lot to be taken for that. And same with that, we've got a score of 4 in there as well. And we've also got a few 2s, which feels quite low in terms of, well, what are we doing there? What are we doing to prepare our managers for the future? And that's what we need to be thinking about now. And that doesn't just mean futuristic concepts, ideas, use of technology. You know, Erica and I have been talking lots about the use of generative AI at the moment in what we do. But this also just means the standard skills, the personable stuff, the durable stuff that people are going to need in their future. So the management learning space is designed with 6 key topics. And we've pulled these topics together based on a number of different things, based on the things that we hear from our clients, the things that we're being asked to develop and look at, but also our own thought leadership and ideas as a team as well. So this is the management learning space. We've also got a leadership one as well. So we're looking here at the managing teams working within organizations, and these are the topics that we've pulled together. Each of these topics has got 3 subtopics as well. But after this webinar, if you want it, and we're going to ask you to reach out to us if you want it, we're offering a week free access to the entire management learning space for you to go in and have a play. So the webinar today, I'm not going to bore you and take you through every topic and every subtopic and every activity, but each of these topics, what sits underneath that is subtopics, scenarios, reflective activities, resources that your teams can access. So I'm going to really quickly demo for you in a second just what we're going to share with you if you want it. So if you want the URL and the password to get into the learning space for this free week next week, I'll share with you what you're going to see. Before I do, have a little watch of this video, and this is just there's no sound to this or anything, it's just playing. But this is just some of the screenshots that we've taken from inside the learning space to get you to think and feel where it's come from. And what you'll see as this plays is we've got a number of different scenarios. We've got information, we've got context, we've got some of the theories and concepts that we're all familiar with. This range of different activities is designed to keep people engaged, to reflect on what this content means for them day to day, and to create actions to take away after the e-learning. You'll also notice there's not loads of text. So we've built in quite a lot of audio and video into the e-learning as well for people, so that it feels a bit more multimedia, a bit more multisensory, and then we're not expecting people to read reams and reams of text. There has to be text in there. So if you've ever been on our virtual learning, our slides can feel quite conceptual. Obviously with e-learning and without having the live facilitation, there is text in there, but it's stripped back as much as we possibly can and supported with other media. Okay, so I'm going to go in and show you the learning space so you can have a little look at what that looks like. Okay, so what we'll share with you today, if you would like it, we're going to give you the chance to just send us an email this week if you want us to give you full access to this. We're going to give you the URL and it's password protected, so only you people, you guys on this webinar, are going to have access to the URL and the password to get onto this. So it's quite exclusive at the moment, and we'll share it a bit wider possibly down the line, but at the moment we wanted to keep it quite controlled and managed and share it with the people that are engaging with us like you all are. So you'll get the URL, you'll get the password, and it will take you to the website where the learning space is hosted. Now, once you're in, you can access it all here on the home page. You can make the e-learning full screen. So please do that, because you'll get a much better experience if you make that full screen and you can see it. And it's really, really simple. You just type your name in and it'll take you in. Now, I'm not going to, like I said, demo every topic for you here, but what I will do is just show you where a few sort of key things are if you wanted to gain access to it. So what you can do once you begin with the e-learning, you can do a tutorial on how to navigate the space. So if you wanted to, you could have a watch of that. I won't do that for now. And then it just takes you straight into the 6 topics, and it's so intuitive and easy to use. So once you click on a topic, it will take you to the subtopics. People can jump in and out of this. It doesn't all have to be completed at once. In fact, don't complete it all at once, because then you would get total content overload. But you could just dip in and out. Now, with the trial, because it's hosted on the website, it won't track the progress that you're at within the e-learning. If you had the e-learning uploaded onto an LMS, it would track your e-learning as you complete it. So just be mindful of that as you run through. Now I'm going to take us just quickly back to the main dashboard. And the other thing that I really wanted to show you, which we absolutely love, is the module toolkit. Now, this is almost a separate product in itself. And what you'll notice is it's got in it loads and loads of content on each of the topics. So as you go into each one, it gives a brief reminder of the topic. And then people can go back to this with a number of different resources, including articles and podcasts and blogs and a load of this is just content really that we've pulled together to support the e-learning. So I wanted just to show you that as well. So definitely have a look in the module toolkit. So at the top of the dashboard, you can see it's really easy to navigate. You can go back to the main dashboard, which you've got in front of you. You've got help to navigate around the e-learning. You've got a module toolkit, and there is option for certificate, but that doesn't activate until the very end once you've completed all of the modules. So if you click on that and it doesn't do anything, it will be because you haven't completed the different modules yet. Okay. Brilliant stuff. I'm just going to pause there for a minute and just give you a chance if you've got any questions at that point. And if not, we'll go into how you can access this and have a go. Erica, have you got anything to add there as well?
Yeah, just a great question from Linda around endorsement or accreditation. It's not, because it's and you'll see my response to Linda in the chat. It's designed for people. It's a non-linear piece of content. So whenever managers need it, they need it from initial learning, or they just want to go back and refresh themselves because they're about to have a career conversation, they're about to have a coaching conversation. They're about to have a challenging conversation just using the topics on screen. You can dive in either to the toolkit or to the scenario-based learning that Hayley's talked to you about, and give you that confidence and that skill to be able to go and have that conversation or undertake that task, really. So it's really there for managers, as we said, in the flow of work, to access it when they need it. So it's not like they have to do it in that order. They don't have to do all of it at the same time. It's more of a resource. So rather than putting things like guided learning hours on it or accreditation, etc., although you can see roughly Emma's put the time it might take you to undertake that learning. Of course, you've got the work-based application scenarios that are also on top of that, as well as the practical toolkit, which houses all of those relevant practical resources that give you the how to undertake this stuff as well. It's important to be recognised that this stuff is built to challenge the higher level of blooms. So it's built from a learning outcomes perspective to think about things like, how do I critically consider this activity or this scenario? How do I problem solve based on the activity that's presenting to me right now? And that's why they're built as real life challenges for managers, rather than a bunch of hypothetical text that you might see that you just have to read through and then answer the quiz at the end and get 80% and tick the box and move on. So kind of a bigger answer to that question, really, and just to kind of give a bit more information. Liz is asking there, oh sorry, Sam's asked, can completion be tracked on your own LMS? Absolutely. We will send this to you if you choose to purchase it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, around as a SCORM file. So your LMS will typically hold SCORM, no matter if it's built in Articulate or Captivate or whatever the authoring tool will be, and it will be up to your LMS to recognize that as a SCORM file and then track off the back of it. So as long as your LMS or LXP has that capability, Sam, then absolutely, yeah. Great question.
Yeah, really good questions. And you know, we're going to share with you obviously the standard product today, but there's all of this can be amended and made bespoke sort of down the line. I know, Liz, you've asked around that with the toolkit. We can add in additional resources and things, but again, we can have that conversation separately once you've had a little play around with what's there currently and how that might fit.
It's worth probably just quickly saying as well is we've hosted this on a website. So if that's an option that you would prefer, we can give it to you in a different file, in a different format. Typically people would host on SCORM or LXP, but just for the purpose of the demo, it'll sit on a website, which is why you've got the URL and the password if it's something that you want access to that Hayley's talked about.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Some really, really good questions there, and keep them coming. If you think about something, you know, else beyond this session, then we can obviously come to that as well. Erica, I know we were just going to take people through kind of the how to access, the next steps, the costs as an organization if you were to go for this as well, just so that we can share that. So I'll just come back to the slides for that final piece.
Absolutely. And Tom, we will get to your question as well. So a learning space as is, and what you'll see access is at $499 995 plus VAT. So that's the product that you're buying, and you can see there's a huge amount of content, and that includes the module toolkit. That also includes we will schedule in 2 quality checks and 2 updates in the module toolkit within the first 12 months. So that means that if by any chance any of the links that we've included in the toolkit happen to move from YouTube or from where they're hosted externally, we will do an update and we'll send the new updated file to you. So you don't need to worry about the content going out of date within the first 12 months. It is interesting content, and to link into your question, Tom, we've looked at skills needed for managers now and within the next 3 years. Where we haven't gone yet around this stuff is AI, etc. But we're finding that managers still need those durable skills, you know, specifically from a conversation communication perspective. And we find still that people find the challenging conversation in a management role the most difficult thing within that role. So having a practical set of content and skills within the flow of work right now as you move towards building those skills for the next 3 to 5 years is still super important. And no doubt we will build another toolkit around those extra skills. So for 995, that is the product as such. We are ready to send that product to you right now as a SCORM file. So that can be hosted if you wanted to tomorrow on your LMS. It's that flexible plug and play, you know, upload it to your LMS and you're good to go. If you would like access to the full product for a week, we will unlock it for you between Monday the 24th and Monday 31st of July. So if you want to test it out within your organization or with a client who you think might be interested, we will provide you that access. Now, you won't be able to download the learning space as a file. You won't be able to edit, for example. It's an interactive demo for you during that week's period. And if you would like also learning space access and £500 off a learning space, please email us at hello@quantumrise.co.uk by the 21st, and we'll make sure that you've got access to all of that as well. Okay, what questions have we got? Jess Thornton asks, is the content available only at SCORM? Is any of the content available from a download upload basis into our own LMS? So yeah, so it's e-learning sits as SCORM. That's the file that it's produced in from an e-learning authoring tool. All e-learning will be based on SCORM files. What you'll find in the module toolkit is links to downloadable PDFs, documents. That's what the toolkit gives you, is all of that. But from a content perspective, it sits within a SCORM file within LMS as e-learning would.
Yeah, so we've got the SCORM file and we've got the web file, and they're the 2 upload options when it comes to utilising it. Yeah, great question.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep that up there for a second, just in case anyone's making note of the email address, but it's just hello@quantumrise. I think most of you know us anyway, so obviously just change the first name of the hello at. It will just help us to track any requests that come through. And I'm going to unlock the space on Monday, which will mean that the password will work, and then I'll lock it again the following Monday. So do schedule in the time to have a play with it as well if you do request that, with some money off as well, which is always good. So is there any other questions? It's 9:56. We've just got a few minutes left to go. Abby, I can see you've put the learning space looks fantastic. Is the fee a one-off or annual? It's a one-off, Abby. So you will own the file. It's yours. And you upload it to your LMS, and that's it. There's no ongoing costs. There's no ongoing maintenance costs for the toolkit updates either. So because the toolkit is curated resources from various different sources, we will do the biannual updates on that to make sure none of the links expire, and that's what's included in terms of ongoing maintenance with it as well. Yes, there's a leadership one as well, Sam. So we're very happy if you again just email Erica separately, Sam. She can share with you the leadership, all the leadership stuff. There's also quite a lot that we've already been putting out around leadership learning space and the topics there as well. So yeah, we've got a leadership and a management one.
And that's a really good point. I just want to go back to kind of Abby's question, because I think it's really poignant and maybe something we haven't explored quite yet in the last minute or so. But what we're not selling here is a licensed product. We're not selling, you have a minimum of 100 people or 1,000 people that can use this. Once this, you're buying the content and the file. So once this is loaded onto your learning management system, as many people in your organization can access it as many times as you want them to. And that's why it's designed as it is. So people can come in and access it within the flow of work. So we all know we go through training, we might go through coaching and feedback, and then actually we might not have a feedback conversation until 2 or 3 weeks later. And then we think, oh God, what was that framework that I really wanted to use? Or what were those words that I wanted to say? I'm just going to spend half an hour diving back into the learning space. Oh yeah, there's my framework, off you go. So it's access, it's easy, and that's why we don't lock everything down, we don't have it in a linear aspect, and it's not restricted through licenses. We fully believe that people should have access to this content as and when they need it, and that's part of the principles that we've built it through.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thanks, Linda, that was your question by the looks of it.
Yeah, great. It's a really good point. So again, it's just, it's the file, it's unlimited. Have you got a
Yeah.
content brochure just to list the content available? Have we got one for the management space yet, a brochure, Erica, or is it the leadership?
Well, that's the interactive demo, isn't it?
It's all there.
It's that shows you that. Yeah. So just if you want to request the interactive demo, you'll see everything in there in terms of content, and also from a wider perspective. If you're looking for other L&D services, that will be on the website, which is quantumrise.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jessica. Good
But
question.
great question. Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be able to delve into all the topics and all the content for that
Yeah.
week, which hopefully will be useful and answer some of these questions as well.
We're come
Excellent
to the end
stuff.
of our
It's
time.
9:59. We don't
Yeah.
like keeping anyone a minute over. So we just want to say a huge thank you for investing your time with us this morning, and we hope that you
Absolutely.
found it interesting. And we'll look forward to your emails coming in again requesting that access, and I'll be keeping track of those my end to make sure that it's ready for you on Monday. If you've got any other questions, Erica and I can hang on for a bit, but we'll end the webinar there just to let people log off who've got another call or meeting. And it was great to see you all.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining. Speak to you all soon. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.